Welcome dart players one and all. Today on Straight to the Point we're going to be addressing some of the worst darts advice that's being given online at the moment. It was a statement given by a professional dart player that's been completely blown out of proportion. And I think it's affecting more people's games than people realise. The advice I'm referring to, specifically, is pointing at what you're throwing at. This was a statement made by Phil Taylor, generically pointing towards the direction.
If you see my arm will go right way through, and you're more or less pointing at what you're throwing at, so it's all follow through. It's a lot like golf or football. If you kick a ball, it's all about the follow through.
After just watching that clip back, I think it's fairly obvious that Phil Taylor's referring to the follow through, the way his arm goes through with the dart, and not what he's pointing at after he's thrown it. But let's take a quick look at his throw anyway, side on, just to make sure. As you could see there, the elbow is nice and still as he draws back, and keeps it nice and still as he goes through until he hits the point of release. The arm is nice and straight by the time the dart is halfway to the dartboard, like it should be. You can see there he does point his finger out, it's just a quirk of his handprint, but it's nowhere near where he's throwing at. The only time you should be pointing the dart to the target you're throwing at is when you're aiming, and somewhat at the point of release as well. You want to try and go back to the point you were aiming and push through. And to back the point up further that this is nonsense, we'll watch a couple of other pros and see if they end up pointing towards the target. So this is Steve Beaton. Nope, hand nowhere in the shot. Gary Anderson, two-time world champ. And we'll pause by here, so this would be the line he should be pointing at if he was pointing towards the target. But he's actually pointing on this red line instead. Again, he's pointing under the dartboard. One more pro for luck. We'll do Adrian Lewis next, two-time world champion. You don't need a line to see that he's not pointing at the treble 20 after the throw. He goes right the way through with a nice still elbow. But because of this misconstrued information that's poorly being fed to people online now, I see a lot of amateurs throwing darts like this, lifting their arm right into the air as they go through with the dart. Although this does give you some follow through, it takes a lot of energy and also takes a lot of the follow through away. And it also causes the elbow to rise, the shoulder to come into play, and the head to move. It's all unwanted body movement. You don't want to be doing it. Which is why the best players in the world don't do it. So try this instead. Keep the dart under your line of sight when aiming, draw back with the elbow still, and flick through with the wrist and the fingers until the arm is straight, keeping the elbow as still as you possibly can as you go through. By going through correctly with the wrist and the fingers and keeping the elbow still, you're maximizing your follow through. This will also dramatically decrease the need for shoulder and head movement. So my arm just lifts a little bit until straight after I let go of the dart, and I keep the shoulder and the head as still as I possibly can. Just have one more throw here now. Elbow still as I come back, still as I go through. Flick through with the wrist and the fingers. The less unwanted body movement, the better. Keep it simple. We can all agree that darts is hard enough as it is. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching Straight to the Point. Please remember to like and leave a comment. And as always, subscribe if you love the darts. Roll the credits.